know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because he's done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cash and Props with Jason Dunn and the two Dash brothers. I'm Marcus Dash. It seems like I'm usually the first one on here. Waiting on Teja and Jason. Jason's caught in traffic right now, and Teja should be getting on here soon. I don't know what he's doing. But yeah, so pretty great week for both of us last week. But I don't think anyone was hit any harder about Kadarius Toney's drops than myself. I had Kadarius Toney's over 1.5 catches, which he hit that barely, but he did. And then his yards. We had 25 yards in the show. I think his line was 14.5. He didn't even cover that. The 25 yards he almost covered if he just caught the balls. I mean, what really hurt him, and I'll say this, was that first catch when Rashee Rice, they called the pick play, which he was just running his route. He catches that ball to start the game off. That's a 15-yard gain. We're sitting pretty, but nonetheless, we hit 4 out of 5 on my bets. And Teja, finally, the first, I thought I was going to be the first one to hit my five-legger with Teja. It's his 5-legger for the first time on the show. All 5 legs hit. Teja, good shit last week. What, I mean, are you taking anything what you did last week and applying that to this week or no? You find any trends or anything or no? Nothing?
No, I mean, I found trends within it, but not really related to last week at all. I don't know if I have any carryover type bets, actually.
No,
I think I don't even have Rice in there, which is, yeah, I know, crazy, right? He's been a gimme the last, 8 weeks. But
yeah. So yeah, we got Sleepy Face over here, our guy. Let's fucking go Chiefs Kingdom. And can't wait for the Christmas present I asked so nicely for. What I want to know what you asked for. Let us know in the comments there, buddy. I'm always curious to see what you guys asked for. Big fat W. Okay, well, there you go. There's
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I like that. Curious to see if anybody tagged along with our bets from last week. I hope because I was really upset about the Kadarius Toney thing. I went really hard. Usually I don't really go hard on bets as far as prop bets. I'm more of a team bet guy. But I was so locked in on the Kadarius Toney bet that I literally put his catches and yards in every one of my bets last week. Yeah, I was really, really upset. I contained myself on our post-game show and our other shows, but inside, guys, I was really pissed off. But I'm not gonna go in on that. JD likes to defend his players here, so I'm not gonna go in too hard on these guys. And also, Toney was getting dominated by everybody online, so. What am I gonna say, right? What added stuff can I say that's really gonna get to him? I'll tell you what though, Kelsey having his back like that, and it was great to see. It shows how close our guys are trying to pick each other up. But I was really pissed off about that. We got more comments here. I'd love to get the right for grown adults to wager on a sporting event in Missouri. What a gift that would be. That would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I know I don't really know much about the Missouri stuff, but I know some of our followers who are in Missouri, they drive across the border to Kansas to yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of because there's certain bets, because I'm based in Virginia, and for most of you guys who know that, there's certain bets that we cannot get in Virginia that you can in Maryland. Like, for example, in Virginia, you can't, they have the weirdest rules. Can't bet on any Virginia schools. So if you want to bet on Virginia Tech, UVA, can't do it. So a lot of people who are big fans of that, they go to Maryland to vote to go bet on that. And then also the big one, MVP, you cannot vote on it. Heisman, MVP, any kind of individual awards, you just cannot bet on it in the great state of Virginia. I love my state of Virginia, but man, I don't understand why you can't bet on okay, I get it. Like UVA, they think that you're going to have some sort of connection to the team there. Okay, that's fine. Whatever reason that is. But I can't bet on the Heisman. I can't bet on who's going to win the MVP. That's ridiculous.
Well, next time they have a prop to vote on, vote to open it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy they have it. You know what? We got our guy here who said angry drunken German who says they can't bet on in Missouri. So I'm happy we can bet at all. But the fact that I can't bet on the Heisman, like last year. I mean, you guys who didn't know me on the show, big 76ers fan, big Chiefs fan, and last year we had Joel Embiid, also Kansas guy, who won the MVP, and then Mahomes won the MVP. I couldn't bet on either one of those guys, and I would do that every year. Every year I usually make a season-long Chiefs and 76ers bet. Couldn't do it. I'm in North Carolina, basically the same. So Sleepy Face, you cannot bet in North Carolina, or you just can't bet on North Carolina teams? Because I mean, that's the thing that I get in Virginia, and also the MVP thing.
Individual awards, maybe is what he meant.
Oh, for individual awards? Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's just stupid, man. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not.
You can just do an offshore account.
Yes, the show is sponsored by BetOnline.ag. So in theory,
I agree. But if you are just dying, if you have the tip of the century between not doing it or setting up an offshore account, a one-time MVP, you could.
Yeah, and they get paid out in crypto, and then you can convert it to cash or whatever.
Yeah, and you can explain your taxes, where that came from, and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, depending on how much you win on that, I think the winning stipulation's got to be above a certain threshold. True. But so JD will be on here shortly. So JD wants to talk about he was watching Tom Brady on Stephen A. Smith's podcast, and there's a snippet there that JD really wants to kind of talk about. We're gonna get to the bets first, and then we'll get into that. But yeah, JD wants to talk about it. It's pretty much Tom Brady. About a month ago, he kind of called out the mediocrity in the NFL. You got guys throwing balls to receivers where the defense is right there. He thinks the coaching's bad. And I'm curious what JD has to say about that because JD's kind of hinted at it. And JD's a really nice guy. He's kind of hinted at certain things that Tom Brady kind of hammers home here on the segment. So we'll talk about that. Hey, Kathy. Hey, yeah, go Chiefs, baby. Yep, you know it, Kathy. It's Christmas season, but you know what? More so than that. It's Chiefs season. It's Chiefsmas. Merry Chiefsmas to everybody in the chat. Honestly, you guys, the channel's really blown up this year. And 2023 was really a big year to remember for the channel. JD and myself and Teja now, who's on board with the post-game shows and then the betting show. It's been really great. Kind of blowing up with all you guys. Getting a little emotional right now because you guys been amazing this whole year. And we're almost at 5,000 subscribers, and the channel we keep coming back for you guys, and you guys have been really great, kind of buttering us up with, the subs, the comments, and the live shows. And we've kind of done the uptick of the season. And we're going to continue to do this uptick of shows throughout the year. It's easier to get content during the season because, you can talk about so many things during the season. So JD and I will look for ways when the off season comes to try to get on as much as possible to still continue these multiple shows during the week to provide some content for you guys. So yeah, we're gonna keep rocking it, and and hopefully this weekend. Yeah, I know it's Christmas time. I went 4-5 last week. Teja went 5-5 in the bets. Hopefully we get you guys some more dough so you can dish out. Maybe at the end of the day, maybe you'll make some of your money back of all the Christmas gifts you spent on. And hopefully with our same games this week. I like my same games. I usually do. I try to go away from Tony. Yeah, I think. He's gonna same reason why I bet on him last week. I think he's have a good week. I just can't do it again. I really can't. He really burned me last week, man. So I'm just gonna stay away from it. That's it. So we can get a little head start here on the picks. I think JD will be here on here shortly. He's stuck in traffic. But Christmas traffic in Kentucky on a Friday night, baby. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but yeah, we're gonna get into the picks here for our guy Teja. Teja, let's begin here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I made sure to have a great picture of Aiden O'Connell since you're going with him this week. That guy is something else, man. I'll tell you what. He looks like an undercover cop.
I'll start from the top here. So Chiefs -6.5. So I think we win by a touchdown. I think our D steps up and our offense puts up 24 points plus. So it'll really come down to whether or not the Raiders can put up more than 17. And I just don't think they will, especially since they've only done that twice in the last 8 games. I also think they'll be feeling themselves a little too much after the Chargers domination. So I think they have a comeback to earth moment.
Yep.
Pacheco under 80.5 rushing yards. So this has nothing to do with Pacheco or his skill set. It has everything to do with the Chiefs being cautious about giving him a full load and bothering the shoulder. He's averaging 14 carries per game. So let's just say he gets a little below that at 13. He would need to average over 6 yards a carry to put him over 80, which he has done once this season. So not to mention he averaged 3.7 against Vegas last time. So I think he'll be more of like the 50 to 60 yard range. Kelsey, that's a good one. Kelsey plus 50 receiving yards. So before the last game against the Pats, Kelsey had 3 straight games of 81 plus. We knew the Pats would game plan and take out the Chiefs' best pass catcher. We predicted that. I just don't think the Raiders will have the same luck. They gave up 6 for 91 last time. I see something in like the 70s for Travis this week. I'm going to take the 50s to give me a little buffer. You know, I like to be a little cautious. Mahomes 225 plus. So he had 298 against the Raiders last time. He's gone over 225 10 times this season. I think he clears 250 pretty. Oh, there he is.
There's the man. The man of the hour, baby.
You good, JD?
Hold on.
Hold on. Okay. We'll come back to you, brother.
I'll do it.
All right. I think he clears 250 pretty easily, especially with the offense trying to get right before the playoffs. And
you good, brother?
Hold on real quick.
Okay.
Unless, especially if we see less carries for Pacheco, I see a lot of short, quick passes to gain those yards. I would usually come on tough runs. And then lastly, the narc O'Connell, under 242.5 yards passing. So he's gone over this 3 times all season. He didn't play a full year, so it's a little deceiving, but he's gone over this 3 times. 2 of those were for 248, so very close to the 242 number. One of those was against the Chiefs, but if you remember correctly, the majority of those yards came in the first half before we tightened it up in the second half. I think we come out of the game a little rusty with him, give up maybe one like scoring drive, maybe get like 3 points early, and then we tighten it up for the rest of the game. I think he'll probably have around 200. We've only given up more than 242 2 out of the last 7 games. So he's one of them, but I don't think it happens again.
Interesting. That's $25 to win $105 from this 5-legger. JD, we were talking about before you got on here. This guy, he went 5-5 last week. I went 4-5 because it's Tony's yards, but Teja went 5-5.
5-5. Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Did you go with the field goal?
Yeah.
Did it hit 2?
Yeah, you should have had 3, actually.
They should have 3. Okay, that's what I was like. I thought that was the one you missed out on. I was like,
oh man, dude, I would have been so mad if he had that. I was saying, dude, if he misses this last one, I'm going to be furious. I was more worried about the over, actually, because we were right there at the 4-yard line. If we scored, I would have lost.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I hit it right on the dot. Really. I can go over the most notable stats from the 5 picks if you want me to do that, Marcus. Sweet.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, let's get JD up to speed here.
So I'm taking Chiefs -6.5.
Okay.
I just don't think. I think we score at least 24. I just don't think the Raiders will put up more than 17. They've only done that twice the last 8 games. I just don't think they're going to be. I think they're still flying way too high after that win last week. It was like their Super Bowl. I just don't see them repeating a big offensive explosion. Pacheco under 80.5 rushing yards. I just don't think he'll get the work that he would need to equal that. He's averaging 14 yards carries a game. Let's just say he gets a little below that because he's banged up. Let's say 13. He needed about over 6 yards a carry to get over 80. He's only done that once this season, and he averaged 3.7 against Vegas last time. Kelsey, 50-plus receiving yards. He had 3 straight of 81-plus going into the Pats game, and we talked about this last week. The Pats are great at taking away your best offensive player, which is him. The Raiders gave up 6 for 91 last time they saw Travis. I think it's somewhere in the 70s for him this week. And then Mahomes, 225. I just see he's done over 225 10 times this year, and I just see in lieu of the Pacheco's runs, I think we'll do a lot of short passes just to get the ball out of his hand, to get rid of the pass rush, and to just create some small, quick yards instead of the run. And then O'Connell under 242.5. He's done this 3 times all season, 2 of those for 248, so it's pretty close. He did it against us, but if you remember, most of his yards came in the first half, so I think we just do a little more tightening up earlier in the game to not allow him to get that much. And we've only given up more than 242 2 out of the last 7 games. So
what did he have last week?
In the explosion game?
Yeah.
Let me see.
I don't think he had that, honestly.
I don't think he needed to have that because they kept getting the ball at the 5-yard line. They kept scoring one play.
That was a disaster.
Aiden O'Connell. He had 248 again.
Oh, wow.
Big 248 guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, it looks like good bets, man. Negative 6.5. I think we definitely do that. Pacheco under 80.5 yards rushing. I think it's a very good case in that, valid case. When you first get back, just won't give you all the carries. And of course, CH having the type of day he had last week, I think we let CH get a little totes, right? I mean, yeah, lady, he earned it a little bit. And so, yeah, just don't put everything on Pacheco's shoulder coming back. So, yeah, under 80.5 yards rushing. I can definitely see that. Kelsey, 50-plus receiving yards. Yeah, I can see him definitely doing that. Okay, since it's going to be Christmas. I'm sure his little Mrs. Santa's going to be there for him. I'm sure, cheering him on. Definitely see that. Mahomes 225 yards passing. I can definitely see that for sure. O'Connell under 242.5, and just given the stats what you just showed, I think that's okay. I think it's doable. So that's good. Everything looks good, man. I like it. 25 to win 105. Okay, so these weren't really that. It's pretty conservative then on the betting.
Yeah, the 25, the 6.5. I bought 3.5. I think we're are we 10-point favorites right now currently as it stands?
Yep.
Bought 3.5 there. Mahomes, I bought some. Pacheco, I bought up to take the under on that. What was the other one I have? Kelsey bought a little bit on that. Yeah, I pretty much bought almost on everything. So yeah, it's a bought number for each one.
Okay.
A little insurance.
Yeah. It's not bad. All
right, so obviously, I went a little. I usually do. I'm not as safe as Teja when it comes to these things. That's why I went 4 for 5 last week. I freaking sold points on Tony's yards last week, and it didn't even matter anyway. His line was 14.5. I was like, you know what? He's gonna have more than that. He's gonna have more than 25 yards. And they take away that first catch he had, and they would have put us on a great little trajectory for the game. And then once it took away that catch, it was done. But new week, we're gonna go all in this week. So Chiefs total points over 30.5. Last time we played them, we had 31 points in that game. And so I did a little digging here. So if you look at going back to Mahomes' first year in Kansas City when playing the Raiders at home, Because when he plays Raiders in Vegas, he freaking just lights them up. But it's a dome. So, but anyway, I look back at all these games. So, 2018, Mahomes played the Raiders in Kansas City, had 35 points. That was in December. Then 2019, played the Raiders again in December, scored 40 points. Then in 2020, he played the Raiders at home, but this was in October. However, still scored 32 points. And then you take it to 2021 in December, we scored 48 points. And then last year at home, October was the only time we didn't score over 30.5 points against him. He had 30 points on the dot. So if you look at it, all his years, he scores more than 31 points against him, and already this year put up 31 points. And we didn't even play a good game, full game in that one. We kind of let them get ahead first. I think we're going to have a good roundabout game and kind of lay it on them, especially after putting up what we did against the Patriots last week. I think it's going to be a 30. I think it's going to be a 35 spot this week. So I was pretty happy going 30.5 points with this one. I think it's a pretty good bet. And then also the history aspect of the fact that he just does this at home against them most of the time in December, where he lays it on them more than 31. I thought that was pretty sweet. Next one, Mahomes over 268.5 passing yards. That is the exact line. I didn't buy on that or anything, or I didn't sell. That is his passing yards line. This one pretty much based in the fact that he had 298 against them last time in a game where we didn't play all 4 quarters well. And I think that he's going to continue to do that. And I think this kind of goes with the Pacheco aspect. Pacheco, I don't think we're going to utilize him a lot this week. I think coming back from the shoulder injury, we're getting into playoff time. There's no need to kind of give him be the bell cow role this week. CH had a non-injury missed practice today, so I don't know what's happening with that. And then McKinnon was also a DNP at practice today. So, like, I don't think we're going to run the – I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what CH's thing is, but McKinnon not practicing was kind of worrisome, but I think he should be fine. But then the Pacheco coming back from injury, I just don't think they're going to utilize him in this bell cow role. And if CH somehow doesn't play, I think it might be a what Andy likes, a game just throwing the ball the entire time. So yeah, I think he at least gets over 268.5 passing yards, and that also ties into his touchdowns, over 1.5 passing touchdowns this week. So 2, he had 2 against them last time. And again, with the injuries we have in the running back room, Pacheco coming back from the injury, I think we're going to throw the ball a lot and we're going to prove a point. And it's something that we've been wanting to do for a while. I think we want to prove a point, none other than doing that against the Raiders on Christmas. I think it's just going to be something that it's going to look pretty. It's going to be a Mahomes type of game. And this is me just kind of going with my gut here. I think Mahomes has himself a day just to do this against the Raiders, the rivalry aspect on Christmas. I just think it's going to be a Mahomes kind of game, especially with the injuries we have in the running back room. That takes us to Pacheco. Coming back from the injury, last time he played the Raiders, Pacheco had 15 carries for 55 yards. Look at the last few games, the Raiders going against Isaiah Spiller was their main ball carrier last week in the Chargers game. They get 58 yards on like 19 carries. They really shut down Eckler. Their defense has been playing better as of late. Antonio Pierce has got these guys fired up. And I think with that, and then also on top of the fact that Pacheco's coming back from the shoulder surgery, they're not going to want to utilize him in the way we usually utilize him. I think they're going to try to spell him as much as possible. And then Rashee Rice, 50 yards receiving in this one. 4 straight games with 50-plus yards receiving. 7 out of his last 9 games, 50-plus yards receiving. So the last time he played them, this is kind of his like main coming out party. 8 catches, 107 yards. We kind of used him in all 3 levels, in the screen game, kind of the middle tier routes. And we also saw him kind of get that sideline deep pass. I'd like for them to do a little bit more. Hopefully they do that a little bit more this week. But yeah, I think 50 yards is becoming like kind of a commonplace for him. I think his catches this week, I almost did his catches, but the line for his catches was over under 6.5 catches. So 7 catches, I don't know if that's, I think he can easily get that, but I thought 50 yards is probably more of a doable ask for him this week. And you put all that together, that's $25 to win $212.50. And I think we're going to be making our money back from all the Christmas gifts we spent out this year, making our money back on all of that with this bet here. So
I hear you. There you go. So yeah, man, Chiefs total points over 30.5. I think I have them winning the game 31-14 or 17. 31-17 is what I had projected them winning. So I definitely see them over 30.5. And I had no idea they would smash them like that, Marcus, after you went through it in the second game in Arrowhead. So, yeah, I think it's definitely doable. Then Mahomes over 268.5 passing yards. So let me ask you a question, okay? What if you bought points on this, okay, or yards, I guess passing yards on this? What would be the next lower thing?
250 probably.
250? Okay.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then 225. And then 200.
It goes in 25-yard increments. So it's 225, 200, 225, 250, 275.
Okay.
And then 300, 325. So, yeah, it just goes up in 25. I almost did 275, but I just saw his line was already at 268 and a half. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do that. Like, there's no reason to either buy or sell on this.
I got you. Okay. 268.5 passing yards. I think it's definitely doable. Like you said, Antonio Pierce has a defense plan. And I think they're going to challenge. They're going to challenge what we have been struggling with, which is our passing game. So I think they're going to bring in a little bit more pressure. Challenge the guys on the outside and start making some plays. And I know Antonio Pierce is probably seeing blood in the water. And he's just like, look, if these guys can't catch, I want you to be physical. I want you to get in their tail. I want you to do everything you need to do, disrupt anything they have going, right? And so there's been kind of a battle of confidence in that room. Let's keep bringing it to him, right? And so don't let him get, Patrick Mahomes. Don't let him settle his feet. Crosby, he's going to be coming after it, right? He's healthy now. So it's going to be a good challenge for our passing game.
And they're talking a lot of smack too, and that's one thing our team thrives on, the bulletin board stuff. Like, so what did Jack Jones say? The new cornerback from New England. He said,
magician.
Yeah, the one way to stop the magician is to
one way to stop the magic is to stop the magician.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's true. Antonio Pierce said, all that little snow globe and all those the little ring around the roses. Best thing to do is hit him in the mouth. So he's going to employ that. Believe me, that is. When I tell you, he's trying to make sure that the team is an extension of him. That's what he's going to try to show this game. So going to that third one, Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And I do believe that's going to happen. I do believe Kelsey's going to probably get one. Rice is probably going to get the other one. And so I definitely do believe that's going to happen. Pacheco under 81.5 rushing yards. And I agree with you. There'd be no need to bring him back. I mean, he's out, but he was out 2 weeks, right? But I don't think that you put him in harm's way to say, hey, look, we need to rush and have him right now to keep running the football. Because they got other capable guys that hopefully, CH might be and McKinnon might just be maintenance stuff. Hopefully that's what it is. I mean, it's like later on in the season, so it makes sense to say, hey, look, man, just sit down. We don't need you right now. We need you on Monday. That's when we need you, okay? And you still got time for that. And so Pacheco on the 81.5 rushing yards. I do believe that. Rice 50+ receiving yards. That's an easy one. That's our number one right now, and he's been playing it like he is. And I think if anything in that room, he's the one growing in confidence that he's able to play, able to do the things that he's been doing. So I'm sure he's telling man, feed it to me. And Patrick and everybody else is like, look, we're going to keep giving you the ball. We're just going to keep giving you the football. And so my thing is, like I said, from weeks, he just needs to protect it. Once he hits it, he needs to tighten up, high and tight, put both hands on the football when he get in traffic.
Yep.
Don't give it up. That's it. That's all I want him to worry about. Okay. That's it. So the bet $25 to win 212. 212.50. I think that's a pretty good bet. It's a pretty good bet.
Looking at the injury report from today, so Bolden was out with a wrist, abdomen, and he had an illness as well. He's back, full practice. Chris Jones, illness, did not practice. Jerick McKinnon, groin injury, did not practice. Kadarius Toney, hip, did not practice. McCole Hardman, thumb, limited practice. They just opened up his 21-day window. Pacheco, full practice. Everyone full practice. And then CEH had the non-injury related personal, did not practice. So
yeah. Yes,
we do have an extra day too, so that also is that's something.
Right. Yeah, that they're growing. Hey, McKinnon. Hey, if it feels anything, relax. CH, same thing. Okay, we got time. We got time. Kind of lick your wounds a little bit, so we good.
Yeah, just go get it rolled out.
Yeah. So looks pretty good, man. Looks pretty good. I'm curious what that line would be if you went Mahomes over 250.
Right now I'm on it. 250.
The same bet with the 250 instead of 268.
Yes.
Oh. 250 is minus 195, so it wouldn't be that big of a difference.
Okay. All right.
That's pretty good.
Y'all got any tight end bets in there?
Well, Taja's got
I see Kelsey, but what about on anybody else?
I almost did Noah Gray over 1.5 catches. That's like his like line every week. It's like over 1.5 catches. So I mean, I don't know. Do you see his role expanding? I mean, he's good for that one catch at the beginning of the game, like almost every game it seems, and then like you think he's going to get another one, but then
doesn't.
No.
Yeah, he might be the guy that we might lean on. I think if anything, you had to say in the room, "Hey, look, Noah, be ready. We need to get you involved a little bit more than what we've been doing." I mean, it makes sense, right? He's a reliable guy.
You could do his yards, maybe better than catches, because he's good for like that good like 15 to 17 one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me see what his lowest catch yardage is. It is
like 12.5
receptions, receiving yards. Oh, that's an alt line. Sorry. 11.5.
11.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to put some money on my tight ends, man.
Ooh.
I like it.
I like that. Yeah. But going back to you all's and y'all bets from what I'm looking at, everything looks good. I'm gonna have to go with the conservative side this week. I'm gonna have to go with the conservative. It looks like it's just kind of an easy bet, throwing it out there, 25 to win 105, easy money in your pocket. So this week, man, I'm gonna have to give it to Teja. Teja, I think you win this one this week, man. Yeah, I think it looks good. That the 268. I don't know. It's just sticking out to me, Marcus, and I know what they're thinking. I know they're coming after Patrick. This week, they are coming after him. I mean, what they got to lose? It just means no holes. I mean, shoot, you might as well go ahead and play lights out, right? Sure. Do everything you possibly can do. And so if you know that wide receiver room has been struggling, then that's what we're attacking. I don't care what they're doing. We know that is the weak spot, at least for them. That is the weak link right now for the offense. Let's attack that room, right?
You do have a score in 131, though, right?
I do have him scoring 31. So here's the thing. If I'm looking at it, I still do believe that if our defense holds up, hopefully we'll get on short fields. I think, to be honest with you, I think our special teams may have a couple of big returns.
Ooh, the Richie James in action, baby.
James. But I think we might run the football in. I think we're better at it. I think 12 personnel would run the football in, or this might be the case for the Noah Gray, okay, over the 1.5 catches and over the 11.5 yards. Like, I like that bet. I do. I like that bet with Noah. So the wide receivers down in the red zone, only one you see is going to be Kelsey and Rice, right? And so if we stop those two guys, who else they got? Well, walk in Noah Gray. How you doing, Mr. Gray?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So at the 268, man, we don't know. And hopefully, look, I want y'all to lose y'all bet on Pacheco. Okay? All right? I want y'all to. I want Pacheco to come out, man, and just on his rah, he's hitting 100 yards. So if it happens, it happens. Yeah. And also, too, same thing, CEH, maybe getting off, McKinnon, maybe getting some carries. We know CEH got a lot of the yards last week on the screen. So that was a lot from what he got.
Yep.
But
No, I agree. I think Teja's a safer bet. He's also the hot hand, 5-5 last week. I gotta say, JD, I think I'd have your trust if KT didn't do what he did last week and drop all those passes, because we would have easily had over 25 yards. Oh, and this freaking refs calling that stupid penalty on him with the that freaking pick play. It wasn't a pick. I mean, God.
yeah.
That was 15 yards right there off the bat. First quarter, 15 yards on catch. Oh, man.
Right.
But JD, so I have the okay, yeah, we got Ghetto Nerds. Could Dev see Noah catching passes in the flat? Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So JD, you and I talked about in the opener. I explained we're doing the betting aspect of stuff, but there was a clip that you saw from Tom Brady on the Stephen A. Smith show, and I have that queued up and ready to rock. Very interesting nugget and tidbit from him. So I'm gonna cue this up here. And okay, all right. So
You explained it all?
yeah, I explained that he talks about the mediocrity of the coaching in the league right now, and that's kind of a lot of problems he's seeing.
Ooh, boy, I love it. Let's get into talking about this. I love it. There we go.
A lot of mediocrity in today's NFL. I don't see the excellence that I saw in the past. I think the coaching isn't as good as it was. I don't think the development of young players is as good as it was. The rules have allowed a lot of bad habits to get into the actual performance of the game. So I just think the product, in my opinion, is less than what it's been. I look at a lot of players like Ray Lewis and Rodney Harrison and Ronnie Lott and guys that impacted the game in a certain way, and every hit they would have made would have been a penalty. You hear coaches complaining about their own player being tackled and not necessarily, why don't they talk to their player about how to protect himself? We used to work on the fundamentals of those things all the time. Now they're trying to be regulated all the time. Offensive players need to protect themselves. It's not up to a defensive player to protect the offensive player. A defensive player needs to protect himself. I didn't throw the ball to certain areas because I was afraid players were going to get knocked out. That's the reality. Wow. I didn't throw it to the middle when I played Ray Lewis because you knock him out of the game, and I couldn't afford to lose a good player.
JD, what are you thinking about what TB12 had to say?
Man, TB12 was on it. He was on it. I don't know what precipitated that, but that joker, he let it fly, and he should have. And he told the truth. He told the truth, and I agree with him 100%. 100%. I do think the league now, there's a lot of mediocrity going on. And he said it not just from the players, but also too from the coaches. Maybe the standard of what coaches are setting for guys, and it's blatantly obvious when I look at it. I mean, when I'm seeing, like you said, the product out there. Okay, now like one of the case in point, George Pickens. I think I sent that one to you about how George Pickens wasn't getting blocked. And I made this case not just on George Pickens, but I was saying it in the game with Cincinnati. Cincinnati was playing. I watched Cincinnati play who they played a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just like, man, this is glaringly obvious that these guys are not blocking. Like when they know they're not getting the ball, they're walking off the line of scrimmage, and the guys are fighting for their life, going, trying to run the football, and they're going in, putting their noses in it. In our own team, I get on Rashid Rice about blocking, okay? And this is one of those things that's learned. It's something that's demanded, and it's got to come from the coach. And so the same thing goes into like the coaching. Well, who's demanding the coaches to do what? What are they holding, the responsibility for the players to do and the accountability, right? And so we've said that because we don't quite know how the dynamic working in our room for the Chiefs. And so we see things that they're lacking in, and whether it be just discipline on lining up, catching the football, the penalties, the lag in and actually getting open and understanding pass plays and concepts, getting in and out the break with some type of speed. I watched that play last night when Shaheed made the deep throw, the post for the touchdown. The wide receiver, I was going to send it because it was such a brilliant play. But it took the wide receiver on the other side to run down that safety, okay? When you see the speed that he's going to attack the safety, he knew he was going to do a job, okay? He probably wouldn't go get the football, but he knew on the play, I have to influence his safety. I have to take two. You got one high safety. You got to take this guy for Shaheed to outrun that corner for a touchdown. Okay. And that's the way it's supposed to look. And when you see a play that was brilliantly written up, that's the way it's supposed to work. But what Tom was saying, it's just, and I've seen this from me coaching in college, and I'm talking from these guys leaving from college, going to the NFL, how there's a lot of whining, not necessarily working on skills. Some of the things that you see on YouTube on how to get faster and whatnot, that's what they're doing. They're really putting in a whole lot of work into the weight room. We were talking about it, me, Schaub, Gonzalez, Baber, Locke. We were just talking about it. Guys are not putting work into the weight room. They're not. I mean, you can see it. You can see how now guys are getting hurt. Well, part of that is some of these injuries are based off of they're not taking care of their body. You have to practice hard to toughen your body up, right? Your whole shell. And so if you're if you're practicing in Club Med and you're not doing any type of tackling, you're kind of walking through stuff, you will see that product out there on the field. You will see that product out there on the field. That's what Brady sees. He knows that. So that's talking about the coaching. It talks about the standard that they're setting with as far as the players wanting to do it. When I watched those guys yesterday, last night, the Rams, I watched their receivers. There's a different mindset there, okay? You can tell two different type of teams and the attitude on what they're trying to do. The wide receivers are getting out there. They're blocking. They're blocking for their guys. And I'm like, okay, so that goes into the coaching. That means the coach is sitting there telling them, this right here is important for us to do. We will score more touchdowns if guys are out there coaching. And so I think Tom has a very, very valid point. Just talking about the mediocrity in the game today. Go ahead.
What do you make of because this is something that someone pointed out was from a podcast I was watching. It was a former quarterback talking about certain youngsters, and obviously we talk about all the time. Rookie mistake. The phrase "rookie mistakes" for a reason, right? And I think they pointed out Bryce Young, who's getting he's getting killed in Carolina. The play there is just, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of talent around. That's why they're one of the first pick. But like, there's one play they pointed out was Bryce Young threw the ball to I believe it was who's their tight end, Hurst, right?
Hurst, yes. They got Hurst and they got what's the name? Trimble. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Threw a ball out to him and he left him on. I mean, he got dominated. Like, just it was a ball like high up there, man. Just got freaking cracked. It was bad. But like, that's something that, you see that stuff in high school. You see JV quarterbacks killing the receivers and stuff. And that's an elementary thing. You don't see that at this level. And that Brady talks about it there. Like, he's not going to throw a ball in a certain coverage because Ray Lewis is going to be there. It's one that's got to get cracked because he needs them in the game. And you see a lot of these youngsters doing that. And yes, rookie mistakes. It's going to happen. They're going to learn, right? You're going to have a veteran going to tell them, hey, don't do that. But like, I feel like I'm seeing more of that now. And obviously because we're probably seeing more rookies play at earlier times, whereas when you play, JD, your first round pick, you're probably sitting for a year or two behind that quarterback and then getting in there after a while. But now they're throwing these guys right to the fire right away. And I feel like there isn't a lot of that like maturing process, like how we had Mahomes sit for a year behind Alex Smith, Rodgers sat for a good while behind Brett Favre. There was more of that like kind of nurturing before throwing these guys out to the fire. And that's why you're seeing more busts, guys who come in the league, they flame out right away because they didn't look good right away, because there was no nurturing, there was no maturing process for them because they had to go right to the fire. And that can be good, but also you're seeing more of that like happen nowadays.
Well, I mean, I think Carolina didn't really have a choice. Who they have in front of him? I mean, who was he going to learn from?
Andy Dalton.
Okay, well, Andy would have been good. That's a good mentor. So, high expectations. I mean, when you're a first round pick like that, I mean, it's high expectations. So people want to see a product right now. They don't want to see Andy Dalton. Everybody's seen Andy Dalton play. And so they like, hey, look, there's a reason you got Bryce Young that early. Okay. Because he's supposed to be the guy to come in and make a difference. Yeah. But it's a nurturing process, and him learning the game. The speed of the game is totally different. It's totally different. I've seen Derrick Henry talk about it. He said, man, from college to the NFL, it's huge. It is huge, the difference in it. And Goskins like, what? Like, yeah. Derrick Henry's like, yes. It's a big jump, and that's a fact. That's a fact. You got linebackers who can close. I mean, running at 4.4, it's like it's nothing. I mean, big guys who are 3.30, they run 4.7. Running running backs down the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be a different thing as far as guys adjusting, especially out there in Carolina. Then Bryce Young, man, he's a short guy. Man, he's tiny. He's a tiny dude. Mm-hmm. So he's challenging just to look over the line of scrimmage to throw the ball. He's just, it's difficult for him. But just for all the guys that you're looking at, rookies getting thrown in there now, some teams don't have a choice. You got to put a guy in and try to make what he can. Stroud's been doing a tremendous job down there in Houston. Yep. What's the name? Before he got hurt in Indianapolis, was doing a good job adjusting to the game. Yeah,
even Levis has shown flashes.
Even Levis. But those guys I just named, all of them, if you look at their body type, you can tell that they work out. They're a little bit more athletic, a little bit bigger. So that it kind of gives them an edge somewhat. Bryce Young, man, he's a tiny dude.
Dainty dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask a question too. You mentioned college and guys kind of just not taking it seriously. Do you put any of that on NIL money? Because before it was like you had to make it before you made it, but now you're making it before you make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That hunger, that thirst, that drive, you don't need to have it to make money. Whereas before, you needed to do all that, pay your dues, work your ass off, and then you got to a place where you cash checks.
Yeah. I think this is a prelude to what's going to come. I really do. I think it's getting even worse with the NIL money. These past few weeks, I've been contacted with a lot of different people about trying to get guys into schools and transferring to other places. And I got quite a few people that contacted me. And the market's so saturated, the transfers. These guys are mercenaries now. Miss one place and going somewhere else just to make the money. Or at least, trying to get, some type of notoriety and exposure, which I get. I understand that. But now it's like, I don't think it was intended to do that. I love every part of like the NIL money and guys able to earn, some type of pay for what they do. But now there's an exorbitant amount where you see guys coming in like Shador is getting like 4.5. I seen, and I forgot somebody else was making like maybe 8 or 9 million.
He doesn't need they don't need the NFL anymore.
Why do I need to go? Why do I need to play? Right. I'm driving around already a Rolls Royce or whatever I am, a Bentley. I think
he needs more regulation for sure.
Absolutely.
More regulation.
So what's the incentive? I just think now because of the NIL, it is going to get worse. But what I was saying though, Teja, I think what I was seeing before then was a coddling of these players before the NIL hit. And it was. When I came out, I seen this on teams I coached, some of the guys, and on other teams I would see it. And because you couldn't necessarily fuss with a guy or there was no discipline, you can see why it's difficult to try to now ask a kid to do something, not even a kid, ask a professional to do particular things when he's never had to do it before. So I don't went through high school, I don't went through college, and I could do whatever I want to do. Somebody might say something to me, right? Because like, hey man, look, that's a bad look. You want to get drafted, all this? Okay, I got it. Whatever, right? Play the part. Yeah. Then you get to the league and you're making more money than some of the coaches and other guys. Why do I have to listen to you? Right? I've gotten everything I possibly wanted. When I'm telling you, they're coming from facilities. I remember guys talking about how bad the Chiefs facility was when we played. And it was like, man, we had better stuff in college. Like the place we came, and true. I came from Eastern Kentucky. I appreciate every little thing that we had. But when you talk about some of these big schools, that had just extraordinary amount of money and oh man, to them it was almost like them leaving from you know, like a hotel. I don't even know what's the one. I can't even think of it, but it was like a step down. It's like going to like a Motel 8 or something. That's the way he was looking at it. Like, oh my gosh, well, that's what y'all eating, you know? So you talk these big programs. That's what you would get. You would get guys coming in and was like, dude, like we had better stuff than this. So these young guys, man, because of what they've been given, they don't appreciate it as much. They just don't. And so,
and that's valid, Angry Drunken German. I'm not saying they shouldn't get paid. I'm saying there needs to be more regulation on it, because without regulation, it gets abused. It just does. It just does. And that mentality you were just talking about, JD, about why should I listen to you once a guy got his fat contract of $90 million over 5 years or whatever it is, have you? That's just starting earlier. So now you have a guy, but at least the guy who gets 5 years, $90 million in the NFL after tearing it up and being a Pro Bowler for 3 years, at least he has that resume. He has made it as a pro. But you have a guy who's like, his brain's still a sponge as far as football goes. He's still learning the stuff, thinking and saying, why should I listen to you? I'm already getting $5 million NIL money. But that's not football money. That's personal brand money. You have to make your football money. When you make your football money and a team deems you worthy of making $50 million, then you can say, you shouldn't say it then either, but then you can maybe say, who are you? Why should I listen to you? But you haven't done shit yet, dude.
Hadn't done anything. That was a major problem when we were seeing like Sam Bradford getting paid $60 million and he hadn't even thrown a football yet in the NFL.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And then you had guys that was making Pro Bowls that was getting paid significantly less. It was like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Okay. It's, and the disparity that you see with guys that's coming in making so much money in NIL, I do believe that you could possibly do something saying, hey, look, and it would take the guy to agree with this. Like, look, man, you're making $5 million. If you took 500,000 of that, okay, 10%, and it went to the team to divvy up to the team, okay, to help other guys out, would you be willing to do it? Would you be willing to do it, right? Because if I'm a guy, quarterback, whoever, a big name guy, I want the guys around me to also be able to eat. I wouldn't want those guys to not struggle. Well, how are you looking now in college? You're going to school, and you're busting your tail week after week, day after day, and this sucker's driving around in a BMW 5 with glasses on, hollering at all the chicks, and you're working just as hard as he is. He's working just as hard as him, and so.
And some of those guys need those guys to perform.
They need them.
If I'm a quarterback with NIL and I'm throwing to receivers who aren't catching my balls, you're not going to get NIL money for much longer if I don't catch your balls, bro. So pass the ball and pass some money.
Listen, I guarantee there's conversations like that. Like, listen, if you're not writing me a check, I will get your knocked off.
Yeah.
Believe me. And you had to just make it anonymous. I'm a little ransom note. Okay, here's the demands of the offensive line. Okay, sign the big 5 up front. Okay, take 25,000 of that money and give everybody $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be the spokesperson for these guys. You're making $5 million. This is what it's going to take. Yeah. You should do this, right? But that's why we see like quarterbacks who, like Patrick Mahomes, buying the guys the golf carts just to show the appreciation. Trent and those guys did a great job. They included the tight ends. That's why I was like, man, Trent included us. He included us in the whole deal. We would have got a golf cart too. So hats off to Tim, man, taking care of us, and the running backs, Larry and Priest, all those guys took care of us. They did.
And you can get creative. You don't have to say, give me money. Be like, hey, next time you're shooting some stupid ass Walmart commercial with your dad Prime and all your other family members, why don't you propose to them to do one with your O-line?
Some guys negotiate that. There's certain guys who negotiate that. Like I saw a story the other day. It was like a Mississippi State quarterback. It was an SEC school where the guy got a big contract from, I forgot what it was, but he made sure everybody on the team got paid. It was a kind of his Christmas gift to the entire team, that like the NIL money that he got, it went to the entire team.
Cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Especially if you knowing that you'll probably get drafted to make even more money, right? I mean, if I know I'm getting money in the future, you know, barring no injury or whatnot, shoot, if I break some of my guys off, you know, a whole team of 50 guys, give them a G each or $2,000 or whatever, $5,000.
Yeah.
I'm making $5 million. Man, they're going to love you. They're going to love you, right? Hey, man, appreciate it, man. Hey, yo, man, I really needed that. Christmas time, you know, I'm at mom's, need this, pops needed this, you know. My brothers and sisters are trying to eat. I'm trying to help them out. Man, I got you. Don't worry about it. And so if I'm a leader on the team, I'm saying, look, man, guys, what I've done, what I plan to do, and I like your what you said, Teja, get the offensive line involved. But I want to, you know, just for a stocking stuffer, I'm giving y'all guys, man, $2,000, you know, just for the team, man, because y'all my boys, okay? And I love y'all. So just want to let y'all know that, man. It'd be a whole different mindset on the team in itself, man.
And
you know?
That's still good press for you, because when you tell your PR person about that, they release that story, and 1,000 millions of people are retweeting that, and then you even get more press now.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're the good guy.
It's a good investment to always do that.
Right.
Good stories are a good investment. So you're not going to be losing anything. That company's got money, because if they're paying you, a college kid, $500K to do a 20-second spot for their commercial, trust me, they can afford to do it for your receiver and throw him $25K. Okay, that's not a big deal for that company. They can do that, and if they want you bad enough, they will do that. If you're calling the shots, you're the one they want. You dictate a lot more than you think you dictate. Right.
It's kind of the same concept when companies donate money to certain causes. It's great. It's great PR. So like, oh man, look how much money that Jeff Bezos or Amazon donated. It's also a tax break for them, a little tax write-off action, but it also makes you look really good too. So I mean, it's also a kind of combination.
Yeah. No, I was going to say 75 guys on a team. I just did the math. 75 guys, you give them $5,000 a piece. That's $375,000. That's easy money for a guy making $5 million. Easy.
Yeah.
You know, so you can work it. If you got a good, you know, guy that can do the tax break, hey man, we could write this off. We could do something to help you. Yeah.
That's right. You probably could. And if you're making $5 million, you got a good tax man, I'm sure.
Yeah, you got a good tax man. You had to, right?
There was a story, I think it was Eastern Michigan. It was college game day. You know, they always highlight stories like that, what you're talking about. It was an Eastern Michigan guy who was working like 3 jobs. Because that's the thing, like a lot of people think just because you're on the team, every guy has a scholarship. And if you're starting, all those guys have scholarships. Now, a lot of teams, especially small teams, they kind of like do a lot of partials. They give everybody partials. They still have a lot, so they can kind of divvy up their scholarships as much as possible. It's a lot of misconceptions there. But like, there's one of the guys on the O-line, and there's a starting like left tackle or something. He got a lot of NIL money. So what he did was he ended up telling the coach, hey, coach, give my scholarship to him. I think it was a backup or the opposing tackle or the tackle. Give the scholarship to him. I'm making a lot of money from my NIL. I can pay for my school that way. Give him a scholarship.
Heck yeah.
Anything helps. It's funny when you're talking about not being able to discipline or coach hard or like come at guys. I was thinking of the Lane Kiffin thing where the guy claimed, what was it, Lane Kiffin, who like got recorded yelling at a player and
he missed practice because of he needed like a mental health day or something.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not valid for him at all. I don't know him. I don't know his case, but there is a somewhat level of you. Let me just put it this way. People know when they say that, it's like unchallengeable.
Yes.
And you can get away with a lot saying that. I'm not saying everyone that says it's disingenuous. I'm just saying, man, when you signed up to play for USC, Wisconsin,
Ole Miss, Ohio
State, any one of them, you know you're getting into. Like, it was a commitment. You know, it was a commitment like that. Let's not play games here. You knew what you were doing. I should have to even tell you to show up for this. It's your friggin' like it may as well be your job at this point. Like you're here to do this. So
I tell you, that's why I'm kind of on the fence Teja, with guys kind of missing bowl games and whatnot. It's like, we're sitting out. I get it. Look, you did everything to get the guys to where they were getting to. And now, and I trust me, I understand the argument on the other side, right? Well, shoot, if he was thinking this, then why play football at all? Why do that at all?
That's true.
Shoot, if you think you're gonna get hurt on every single play, don't even think about that. Just go out there. What stopped you game 7 from doing that? Saying, look, I know I'm gonna be a high draft pick. I got the numbers right now. Let me just go ahead and sit out. What's the name of did that, didn't he? The Bosa. Bosa didn't play.
Yeah.
Remember, he didn't come back and play. He was like, man, I'm gonna sit out.
Yep.
So
yeah,
it works. I mean, those things work. I just think that my mindset, kind of like what Tom was saying, if I'm gonna dedicate myself to my team, to my craft, I'm gonna be out there for my guys, man. I'm gonna be out there for my boys. Seriously. And so if I've been out there for you all year, I'm not going to ban you doing a bowl game where this might be your highlight for us to win something, maybe getting a ring or whatever, or even like a little incentive to put more money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it is a responsibility. When you sign, in a sense, it's an understanding like, look, man, you decided to come here and play. We're asking you to do that. And look, and there's no way I am not advocating for guys or coaches to be down guys' throats and say, hey, look, I'm going to cut you if you don't do certain things. I'm not advocating that at all, okay? I'm on the other side, like, there's still, like, this strength of, like, telling the guy, like, man, look, there's some discipline here that you need to do, that you need to abide by. There's a standard that you should be able to carry yourself with. And if you don't, then there's consequences, right? I don't have to dog cuss you. I don't have to do any of those things. But there is a clear understanding about this conversation on where I want you to go. And if you don't do that, hey, then, Well,
it's also because other players are going to hear that too. So, you told them that you told them that you weren't up to it pretty much. Oh, okay, that worked. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll try that next time. Like, you said yes to you got to say yes to me, right? Because that's
absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, it's tough. And another thing I was going to bring up too earlier, I also think, and I've been saying this for years, lack of training camp, hard training camp, all those rules, and the preseason. So basically, the first 3 weeks of the season are preseason now, and guys aren't even up to full speed till week 4.
Oh yeah,
and the play's sloppy as hell, and guys get injured all over the field, and they're not ready to play yet. You know, so I think that's a big problem too. Is all the preseason training camp practice restrictions, and they're just not ready, man. They're not ready to do it.
And I think it's a sweet spot. I'm not saying go back to the archaic times when we were doing it, right? And busting their heads, and we twice a day, hitting.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about that at all, right? And then don't give these guys water; they didn't earn it. What? I'm not talking about those things. Not at all. Okay.
It worked though. It
worked for some of them, yeah. Water? What do you mean water? You mean water? We had to finish practice first. There was 2 hours when we were ready on the field. But there is a sweet spot to say, hey, look, okay, we understand what we're trying to do. Okay, we're trying to have a much better job, getting the guys ready and prepared. Okay, so there is hours we should be able to get on the field. We understand this through the union on protecting our guys, but we need to also understand that if you continue to go out there and practice in half speed, more than likely there will be injury.
Yeah,
you may be injured, and so there's science behind that as well. It is.
Yep.
So I don't know.
You're not really protecting them. You're protecting them today, but you're not preventing and preparing them for tomorrow.
Right. Oh, what happened to me? Why am I feeling like? Because you didn't practice. You didn't practice. What do you expect? That's why you don't pull a hamstring or something. Because
we saw that the first couple weeks of the season, man. Guys were just breaking away on a run, like the Aaron Jones. I keep going back to that one. I think it was week 1. He broke a long run.
Bears game,
just pulled up because he wasn't ready to just take off at such a high speed all game long. He wasn't ready for that yet. Clearly.
They start saying, like, man, I didn't even know Aaron was that fast. Well, you can't see it because he's not running hard to practice.
First time he ran hard since last season. He probably didn't do that in practice. He probably didn't do that in training camp.
No.
It's crazy, man.
I would watch Priest, and Priest would break out. And, of course, you might get tackled like 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. he would sprint another 40 yards, 45 yards just to get his conditioning in. And he was basically training himself to break out for a touchdown. And when you start training yourself, your body just knows it, right? Well, shoot, let me go ahead and break out. Let me not stop right here. Now, the defense didn't like it, but after a while, they started realizing, okay, Priest is getting better. He's just not stopping right here. What kills me when I see wide receivers catch the football and stop and turn back around. No, finish the play. You got to finish like you scoring touchdown each and every time. You know why? Because mentally your brain gets into the conditioning of you breaking tackles, you going for a touchdown each and every time. You got to be hungry like that. And so those are the things Tom was talking about. It's the things he was talking about. So,
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I know obviously I played in the competitive flag football league, JD, and I get so furious because I play receiver. Guys catch the ball, and I always say, run, just run. Like don't go back and check as they get your flag. Catch it and go. And there's many times where I'll see my guys will catch a ball and they just think because the guy touched them that they're done. I'm like, dude, just go until you hear a whistle. And that's the thing. Like, it's just go.
Just go. Larry Kirksey said it himself. He said the reason we didn't run sprints at the end of practice is because I made sure that the guys got all their conditioning during practice. So they finished every single play.
Yeah.
Every single play.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So, yeah.
That was a really insightful conversation. I really love this topic, JD. I've been kind of spitballing ideas as far as when the season ends because we're not going to have. I think there's definitely we could do obviously our normal Chief Concern show, but maybe an around the league kind of thing where you and I kind of converse about certain topics. There's always NFL topics going on, football topics, just kind of on a grand scale. Do a once a week kind of thing on that.
Yeah, I'm good with it, brother. I'm good with it. But I thought that was important to talk about, man, because when I seen that with Pickens, and it could be anybody, not just him. I'm just talking around the league. This guy, and I remember Al Saunders would say, this guy is fighting for his life. He's fighting for his life right now. And you're allowing somebody to come in and take an extra hit on him, which he didn't deserve. It only happened because you didn't do your job.
Yeah.
Now we're losing for the season, and that'll be on you. So, yeah, man, I think these things are important to talk about. They are. So I'm glad he pulled it up.
For sure. All right, guys. I know we gave a little more than just betting on this show, and it was good stuff. Schedule. So Bleacher Report wants us to do the post-game show on Monday after the Christmas Day game. I know it's Christmas. Everyone wants to be with their families and stuff. So JD, Teja, we can be a quick show, but obviously you guys have stuff going on. Then you don't, obviously, we can catch up the next day. But so Monday after the game, we'll have our post-game show that'll be on Bleacher Report direct, and then we'll have that on our channel. So if you don't catch the live after that, it'll be on our channel. And then the following day, JD and I will be back on Bleacher Report again at noon. And this will be our normal Monday morning tight end show, but Tuesday this week. And then, of course, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, we'll be back on our channel for some Chief Concerns, our weekly preview of the next game against the Bengals on New Year's Eve. And yeah, so that's the kind of the guide for the TV guide for the next three days.
Straight days of us? They get 3 straight days of us?
They get 3 straight days.
Okay.
Lucky people.
3 times.
Yes, sir. Here we go. I love it. All right.
But we'll see you guys on Christmas, of course. But for those of you who won't catch us on Christmas, want to give a shout out to everybody. I kind of in the beginning I said a little bit, but Merry Christmas to everybody. We've had so many different new fans coming on the Chief Concerns every week. But new fan, old fan, kind of our loyal listeners. Merry Christmas. We hope everyone has a really great time and happy holidays for everybody with their family and friends. I hope you guys really have a good one this weekend. JD, do you want to add?
Yeah, man. I just want to say, man, everybody be safe. The reason I was late, man, because it's a madhouse out there right now, driving around. Almost got hit twice.
Jeez.
And I passed by a wreck. So y'all be safe out here. We don't forget what the presents are about, but enjoy each other, enjoy your family. But a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your support, coming out there and come seeing us. Y'all just be blessed. We'll see y'all later. Be safe. Like I said, man, enjoy yourself. Look for this win, man, on Christmas Day. Okay. Appreciate you, Dash brothers, man. Love you, brothers, man.
Love you, man.
Happy holiday.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys Monday directly after the game. See you, everybody. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.